hear that? It's like the pulse in the street, a hole in the chest.
Yo, what is going on, my people? Welcome back to another live stream, another episode, another whatever you want to call it. What is going on? I want to give a huge shout out to everybody right now up in the chat. Shout out to everybody: Jose, Joe Cass, Mulata, Denise, all the people in the back right now. Ramon, Jose, another Jose. I want to put a quick banner up real quick because this is a discussion between Black Americans and Latinos, not FBA, not the hate group named the FBA. So if y'all guys feel some type of way, that's on y'all. I could care less. You know, this has nothing to do with your hate group because you guys don't want to unite with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing your own thing. Delineate from my channel. You know what I'm saying? So this is a discussion between Black Americans and Latinos and how to better basically coincide, because I was in a space with a new content creator, you know, a Magic Mulata, and there was a very interesting conversation that was had when a certain individual decided to come in to the room. Black Americans are not FBA. You guys clearly take whoever's FBA out of the FBA group whenever they disagree with y'all. So that's not true. Anyway, so base, you could leave. I'm saying this has nothing to do with y'all. You FBA, you could delineate out my channel. Anyway, so there was a very interesting conversation that happened. And the thing is that also is a very interesting conversation that always happens within my channel when Black Americans do come in with a certain group. Let me just say the FBA group. But usually it's always, you know, you always get it from both sides. On the Latino side, you always get excuses for certain situations. And on the Black side, you always also get excuses for certain situations, you know? So, Hazel, I think I sent you the link. Hazel, on Instagram. So the thing is, I want to have a real conversation. I want to have a real conversation. And to better understand both communities, because the thing is, I'm looking for unity, and I believe that both parties coming in and coexisting and having our differences understood and hashed out, I think that's a good way of going about it and understanding each other. So I did send out the link to a couple of people, and I am going to bring the people that are behind the scenes right now. So I want to give a huge shout out to Magic Mulata and Denise. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, Rod?
Hi, Denise. Hi, Radical. Hello. Thank you for inviting me on your platform. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you. But so far, for what I've said in the beginning of the broadcast, what do you guys think about it?
I think that I wrote some notes about it. So I think it's an interesting conversation. You know, I'm going to represent myself as like a biracial American. You know, I'm half Black, white. And, you know, I do have some observations on things. I'm not going to speak for the Black community, you know, because they said they don't want us speaking for them. But I do have a lot of things to say about, you know, the unity aspect. I promote unity as well. I think it's very important in this nation because we're all Americans at the end of the day, right? And we all of our communities deserve to get what we need. Like we all have different fights, but I think that we should unify so we can make sure that. But I got a lot to say about it, so
yeah. And Denise, what do you have to say about this intro that I gave?
I agree with you 100%. Nothing major in the world, in the whole history of human nature, nothing major has ever been accomplished by segregation. Nothing. So when people talk about they want to do changes, they want equality, they want to obliterate the old ways of this nation and bring a new modern society, they need to understand that you got to get along, find a way to get along with other people that you might disagree with in order for you to get stuff done.
Yeah. And I think and we're gonna wait a little bit for the other people that I sent the link to come in, but we're pretty much gonna start. what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rattle a couple of questions off, and then you guys answer the best way you guys want to answer it. Is up to y'all. I want to focus on the unity aspect of it. First of all, um, unity. What does it mean to me as a Latino uniting with Black Americans and Black people in general? Unity to me does not mean assimilation. Does not mean that you gotta disconnect your culture or whatever the case is. Unity is being a 100% ally. You know, 100% ally in order for Black folks to achieve whatever they need to achieve, and then vice versa. You know, unity goes both ways. Help out, help each other out. You know what I'm saying? That does not mean that certain Latinos like to say, well, that means my culture is gonna get a sit. No, there's not, none of that happens when we're talking about unity, because it goes both ways. You know, that means that one side doesn't like automatically say, well, our oppression is way more than yours. You know what I'm saying? There's none of that there. That's what unity to me means. um I must just say to Magic Mulatto, what does it mean to you? Magic.
Oh,
Nope.
sorry.
It's
So
all good.
for
It's all
me,
good.
do you think that allyship and unity are like the same thing?
Yeah.
The same thing. So I'm thinking that we need to unite based on like shared values between the community. Because I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I don't think two races of people are ever gonna unite just based on the races alone. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I do think that we need to find like what do these two communities have in common, like value wise. Like we both okay. Because I was thinking about it. I was like, in America right now, if there's a housing crisis, right? So why don't we unite to make sure like all this inflation, all these crazy things that's affecting all of our communities? How about we unite? Because that's a common thing. We all want to have decent housing. We all want to have a house to play, a house for our kids and everything. And it's so hard for all of us right now. So it's like that's something we have in common. We both want that for our families. We both value our families. So we got to make sure like we could fight to like tangible things that we could actually like because I don't know, because when it's like are we going to unite to fight white supremacy, it's like how, like I'm like how can we fight that, like what are certain ways, like
No,
what
I feel what you mean, because
are, like what are the
you're
tangible ways
saying,
we can unite.
yeah, you're saying something like okay, white supremacy is the big boogie monster, but we have to fight these little fights first before we
We gotta
get
fight
into
the little.
something. I get what you mean. I get
Hmm.
what you mean.
Hmm.
What about you, Denise?
Can you repeat the question? I'm
What?
sorry. I'm eating lunch.
No, it's all
I'm
good.
focused on my pastelon right now.
uh, I, but the question was, what does unity mean to you?
Unity. Unity, it's to me what resembles marriage, when more than one individual, like two individuals or more, get together and form an agreement. You're never going to be, and I think that's one of the biggest detriments that we've had in this space when we're trying to unite both groups. You're not supposed to be 100% in agreement with the person you're uniting with. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use my marriage as an example. Me and MK don't see eye to eye on everything. There are certain things that, as he always say, whenever we disagree on something, we might have to just agree to disagree, you know? And that's it. That's the end of the conversation, because I'm not going to change my views because I come from a very different background than he does. He's a full-blown American guy, and I was raised in an island. So we see the world, you know, completely different. So there's certain things we do have in common, which are the majority, which are our values, things that we actually respect, like honor.
Wait, what do you guys disagree about? Like, why she always got to cook with adobo?
I,
Like,
he loves Puerto Rican food. Uh, but no, we disagree. Like, for example, even in this type of conversation, sometimes when we talk about them afterwards, sometimes we don't agree on everything that I have said. And to a degree, I had to see and take his point as well, because it's valid. It's just that I can't see it the way he does because I'm not in his shoes. You get my point? So you have to, for you to be able to unite, I would say people in that group has to understand that the unity and the goal, which is in my case, like now that I'm using my marriage as an example, the goal for us is to be together till death. So that needs to be more important than the differences that we might have. So for the fact of like the unity of Black and brown people, our goals and the fact that we need to move forward and push our issues and pushing you know our agendas forward, that has to be way more important than not getting along on certain views, or that we don't think that race exists, even though we have proven that that's not true. All these conversations that we've had along these years, yes, it's good to have them so that people can clarify what's the truth, because there's only one truth, not each side's truth. But at the same time, we have to understand they're immaterial when it comes to our goals. Our goals need to be more important than our disagreements, and I think that's something that both parties need to understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I love your point about that, about you saying that it's not about being 100% in agreement, but it's just committing to each other in like a form of unity. So how I see it too, I view Black Americans and Latino, I view face I, they face different issues, basically, is how I see it, right? And so I think that people really don't care. For the most part, people don't care about issues that don't affect them. So what I'm thinking is like, what is something that there's like a common, I just don't see, like, what is the something that you guys both would want to unite on, so you guys could both work together?
Yeah, I would say, like you said, lack of education,
Lack of
um,
education.
poverty
Mm-hmm.
that affects both of our groups.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that housing is an issue in both of our communities. Things like
Yeah,
that is something to unite, and
absolutely.
it's something that affects both of our communities in the same way at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, there's a lot of Black folks that live in Latino communities, and there's a lot of Latinos that live in Black communities. So
Yeah. You
we
know what
get
I
affected, at the
see?
same time. Go ahead, go ahead.
But you know how I see it? I see the Latino community. I think the big part about it is learning from each other, right? Because there's a lot of things that Black people respect about the Latino community, how you guys are very family oriented, and things that Black people would like to adopt and like learn from your community. So I think that's an important aspect as well. Being
I
able
think
to be
I think
humble
I think you're
and
right.
learn from other people, right? I think
Yeah,
that's important.
I think you're right. Taking the positive
Yeah,
aspects of
I
each
think that's important.
community, because Latinos, the way Latinos see the Black community, the Latinos see the Black community as, okay, you guys come together and unite extremely quickly and extremely effectively. And
Look,
the thing is, Latinos don't tend to do that a lot or as
the
much.
aspects of both of our communities that we could learn from each other. I think that's a big
Yeah.
part of unity, is learning from each other, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, my question. I know you're not gonna be the gatekeeper for the Black community, but me and Denise have been having these conversations for a couple of weeks now, and for some reason, I always tend to see that certain Black Americans, not all, but certain Black Americans, go out of their way to be disingenuous when it comes to blaming their group or blaming their side. For example, when it's very easy to call out racism on each side, but when it comes to Latinos, yeah, Latinos are very open and say, yeah, that does exist. It doesn't represent all of us, but it does. But when it comes to Black Americans, certain Black Americans try to get excuses and try to be like, well, that doesn't really mean, well,
You know
So
why?
yeah,
Because
please
they changed
explain.
the definition of racism. You know how racism, the definition has changed so many times. It used to mean like, oh, you think your race is superior. And then now the definition has changed. Oh, if you have power and privilege, that means, but we don't have power. It's like they want to be immune from racism and change the definition of racism. But I don't agree with that. I'm like, why? Racism is racism. You can't just change it so
Yeah.
your group
Yeah,
could be
so
immune from being
because
accused of being racist.
one of
I think
my one of my one of my examples was colorism, right, in the Black community.
yeah.
And people, and Denise even heard it, there were some Black Americans that say, oh, that's not racism, that's just colorism. And I'm like, wait, that is racism.
It is
You know what
racism.
I'm saying? So in your opinion and in your experience, is colorism a huge issue, or is it just
It's a big issue.
a small issue in the Black community?
Yeah, because the Black community itself is not united with itself over colorism. Like that's a big. It's so crazy to me that we let color, like light skin versus dark skin, like we let that divide us. So that's what I'm saying. The black community itself is not really united within itself. So I don't see how they can unite with other people. They're not really united within themselves yet because over colorism and issues like that. So it's hard. It's tough. Like it is a big issue. It is a big problem that people face. You know.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. The Latin community is not united as well.
Mhm.
We beef about stupid shit like who speaks better Spanish,
Oh yeah.
or who's from what island that is better and all that other stuff.
All I'm gonna say that pastelón beats tacos.
Shut up. So those are the type of things that we beef about. But for some reason, it seems like there's certain black folks that want to put that image like the black American community is super innocent and does nothing wrong. When I'm like, there's bad on both sides, But go ahead.
Because we deal with that, we're they don't even want to unite with like other like we're biracial, we're mixed, we're half black, and it's like we've always felt united with the black community, but it's like they wanted to push us away for being different. They're not even united with people who are half black. So, even though we're half of them, we're half part of their culture and everything. So it's like, but they, kind of want to disown us and push us away. So it's it's because of colorism usually.
So let me ask you what issues have you faced being half, being mulatto, being biracial? What issues have you faced that is colorism?
Americans are so indoctrinated in this whole black versus white thing. It's just this nonstop, like black versus white, and so that's why it's like on either side I gotta deal with, white people, they're so focused. I mean, black people are so focused on like, wanting revenge to white people because of the history there, right? So they'll take it out on us because we're here in the community, we're half white. So it's just that's the main issue, man. It's just black people wanting revenge for all the horrible history in these countries that happened. They really just want it's like I feel like they want revenge more than they want to build. So that's
Do you really think they want revenge though? I disagree with that aspect. I think
they want revenge.
I don't think they want revenge. I don't think and I'm gonna say why. If black folks wanted revenge, they could start killing white people today. And that is a fact. Okay. There's 46.
Police got the police, they got Navy.
No. But let me explain further my point. Mm-hmm. If they wanted revenge, they would have already started it, even if it killed them. Okay. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, the bulk of the black community wants equality. The problem is they have not had enough time to, how can I say it? To cultivate the path to actually achieve that, because every time they're trying to do something major happens. And then you have in between that, you're under constant propaganda. And that is the way any country works. It's not just America. If you study the history of the world, you'll see that every country's job, especially when it comes to empires like America is, that's why I've always said it's an empire. Every empire's job in order to stay in power is to indoctrinate the people and propagandize the people. It's happening right now in Korea. It's happening in Russia. It's happening in Ukraine. It has happened. Even Gaddafi, I don't know if you guys remember, he even wrote a book about how things were supposed to be. And that's what was being taught to children. And he was known to be a tyrant, even though I disagree with certain things, but we're not going to get into that. But I don't think Black Americans necessarily want revenge. They're just very angry because many things have gotten unresolved for so long. And every time we're adding a layer of stupidity on whatever they want to do. So, of course, they're always going to be the angry Americans. The anger, it's going to be reflected on them. But make no mistake, that anger doesn't come out of nowhere. That anger is a response to all the sabotaging, the pillaging that they have experienced. I even see it in my community in Puerto Rico. It's the same anger we have. They just have it heightened because they're forced to live here amongst the people that are the descendants of stuff. And people that even today,
they're forced to live here. Exactly. We don't got nowhere else to go. Like this is all we got. So
even people today, because that's another thing I hear all the time when people say, "Oh, a lot of these people did not do anything to you guys, and that we're not living in the 1600s," and that is a fact. It is true. We do have different breeds and different shades of white hate and white love too, because there's white folks that are actually very lovable. The thing is that there's so much bad blood and not
that's what I'm saying.
enough.
There's bad blood there.
Let me finish, Hazel.
Mhm.
There's not enough bridges to establish a conversation among Black and white people, and there's not a clear path to resolution. So when you have all these things and you add them into the mix, you're going to get a group that's constantly angry and is not going to release anything and not even achieve certain things because they're just focused on the anger.
Yeah.
And even the propaganda continues every time we see slave porn. I've said it many times. Mm-hmm. How come we're still producing movies that are broadcasting history that's like 100 years old, 200 years old? I'm not even African American, and I'm not even gonna go see Emmett Till be brutalized. That was a child. You get my point? So you're keeping Black folks in America angry for a reason, and it's something that white folks need to stop doing if they want Black people to calm down.
Yeah, this is my perspective. So I was very pro-Black at one time. I was very went hard. Most biracial people do. We want to go hard. We love the Black community. We see how messed up the Black community is, and we want to make sure. And then but the thing about it is, we start hating white people because that's what we're trained. That's what. I don't think average American Black people, they want revenge. Of course not. Right? Just average worker, everyday, regular people walking around. I'm talking about like the pro-Black ones mostly. I'm talking about them because they are very indoctrinated into hating white people because of that history. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about every regular people.
Yeah, well, I will say one thing before I let Hazel in. Kevin, real quick. The link was only for Hazel. I'm gonna put the link down for everybody to come in. But if you want to be in the back, that's fine. I'm not gonna kick you out. I just letting you know that I'm gonna open it up for other people later on. But just to make that one of the comments that Mulata just said about getting revenge from white people. I kind of see her point, but I also kind of see Denise's point as well. Because let's be honest, the black folks that do have that type of rah-rah mentality, let's be 100% honest, they'll quickly kill one of them or one of us way quicker than they'll do to a white person. Because white people, they're scared of white folks. Look at George Zimmerman. He's still walking around now. Exactly. So the way I see it is, if there's gonna be certain messed up people in each community, do the messed up part, and do the harming to other folks that deserve it. Don't do it to us. Don't do it to the people around you. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I wanna invite Hazel. Hazel, what's going on? I don't know how long you've been in the conversation. Sorry for the delay on Instagram. I don't know why that wasn't working.
It's okay. But Radical did it on purpose.
No, I didn't.
No. Hey, I don't know what's going on. When you give me the link, this happened with Jose too. When you give me the link on Instagram, I'm not able to get in. I don't know why it's happening, but if you drop the link in the chat, right away I'm able to get in. Yeah, but I understand why you did it that way, because you want to, you want to have a certain conversation and keep it flowing and stuff like that.
Exactly, and maybe the link I gave you wasn't too light skinned. No, I'm just playing. No.
No. But deformed. It wasn't deformed. It wasn't deformed. That's what I'm saying. Like what Will said. See, we could joke with each other. This is what happened the other night. Sorry. It's not okay. It's not okay. But what I'm saying is,
I went on their stream. They did a live stream about me, dragging me. They said I was trying to LARP as a Latina because nobody likes American women.
They're crazy over there.
Didn't I tell you that was?
They said I was trying to because passport. I'm like, don't care about no passport bros, but there's that.
Mulata, didn't I tell you that was gonna happen? I told you that was
gonna
happen.
About it though, but
I don't know who Maria is, and the only reason I know Ken wants to
be
so
toxic though?
What happened?
Yeah,
why you be so toxic? What if
toxic?
Yeah, it's so toxic. I'm like,
people. All I can say, when going back to the topic, all I can say is, if for the majority, like in the real world, I understand YouTube is the internet is the internet, you know. But in real life, we get along. It's not everybody's gonna get along though, you know. But for the most part, we get along. I live in a 90% Puerto Rican, town. There's other Latinos here. There's also Black Americans, Jamaicans, Chinese. All different types of people. They're in my community. They're in my school. They're in my police department. They're judges, on all levels, doctors. We all get along if we're gonna get along. But if you don't want to be in unity, that is fine. You just can't go to those who want to be unified and fight them and get attitude with them.
You just unite with people who want it. And I think I have a question for you guys. On an individual,
Denise and I are good examples of the Black and brown community. My husband is Trinidadian, and I guess my husband is Black American. And if there wasn't any unity, we wouldn't be getting married to each other and having families and creating communities, traditions of our own.
Exactly.
That's what some people are against right there. People marrying each other, that they're scared of that right there. They want to keep their.
Oh yeah.
That's what
I've been told. My husband wants me only because he doesn't like himself and he's trying to breed himself out, and that I can only get with a Black man because no Hispanic man would ever want me. I'm ugly. What was the other day? Was I'm deformed or I look weird or things like that? And it's this is people talking their inner thoughts, because they know that when I say that to the person to their face, this is their inner thoughts, and they say it online because they feel safer to say that type of stuff here. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you listen to what people say, it can offend you, but don't take it so personally, because this person doesn't know you. They're annoying. How I saw, they're like little nets, miserable people. Just miserable people. And everything is always everybody's fault.
Hazel, real quick. This I like comments like this. Radicals from the Bronx. He only met 3 Black Americans his whole life. Hazel, you're from the Bronx. Is the Bronx not Latino and Black American altogether?
All the time. Actually, I'm from the Lower East Side, and it's all.
Exactly.
It's like the Bronx
people and Latino people.
Black and Hispanic people, they're all the time. We're hanging out. Hey, let me tell you something.
3 Black Americans my
Why
whole
don't you
life.
Go hang out in the Bronx. You'll hear on a Sunday, that's cleaning day, right? You'll hear the hip hop, you'll hear the merengue, the bachata. Everybody's hanging out.
If it's me, but I hear you like
you're breaking up a lot. You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah, Hazel, you're breaking up a lot. I don't know, maybe go.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to get you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Is that Cricket wireless, Hazel?
Wireless.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit.
You sound like you're in the mountains of PR right now.
Go out and come back in.
All right.
Yeah. But again, guys, I know there's a lot of people in the back. Just wait a minute, because I sent the link out to other people, and I want this conversation to flow a little bit, and then I'm gonna let people come in. But my thing was basically like I was asking Mulata, how come there's certain like Black folks that want to deny the racism within the Black American community? How comes they want to ignore it?
It's just the ego thing to me. It's like, okay, it's hard to face your own bullshit, right?
Yeah,
it's hard. It's not an easy task to do, but I think a lot of people do. I see that more. Like, a lot of people do want to take accountability. Because that's a stereotype of Black Americans, that nobody wants to take accountability. But I don't think that's true. There's a lot of Black Americans that do want to.
No, of course.
The loudest voices are the ones that don't, right?
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm gonna ask you, Mulata, is that sometimes I hear that, well, just like Latinos, biracial and multiracial people could pick and choose the race that they want to be that day. And to me, that's very, very weird and stupid to me. Can you tell me
like racial fluidity thing of like
yeah. So when was the last time you chose to be white?
Never.
Oh,
never.
okay.
I never claimed to be Latina.
Yeah.
People said I look like a Latina. I never claimed to be nothing. I'm not ever.
Yeah. No, but it was just a question that I was kind of hearing.
But we did. But I see what they're saying, because most biracial people identify as Black because of the one drop rule, right? Yeah. So that's what they're saying. Oh, you want to be, Black one day and then mixed the next day. But I don't do that. I used to identify as Black until the Black community was like, no, you're not Black.
Well, how come certain mixed individuals do that though?
What, they like jump in and out of
like pick and choose or whatever the case is.
They pick and choose because they don't want to really embrace who they really are, right?
Okay.
That's what it is. If you just embrace who you are, I'm just mixed person, whatever. Yeah. You're not going to jump back and forth. You're just going to embrace it.
Maybe they do it. Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
do you think, because I've seen it on the Latino spectrum, do you think that is done by people because of their personal feelings? Like, for example, I grew up thinking I was a Black girl. Okay, because my dad it's a Black Puerto Rican and my mom is indigenous, but I came out with a lot of Black features. So I grew up thinking that way.
Right.
The thing is that when I came here, all of a sudden I'm stripped of my Blackness, and all of a sudden I am called either light skin or a white woman. So my thing is, do you think, I never abide by what people say. I think self-identification should be very towards the individual, whatever floats your boat, that's what you are. But my thing is, do you think people change these identifications based on those sour experiences, or you think that
I think people claim you and they like you.
Real quick. I saw the knee. That's a negro.
Lord, people move the goalpost of Blackness whenever it's convenient. So if you if you're like Cardi B, for example, they always 1 minute she's Black, right? And then the next minute, no, she's not Black, but she's actually a Latino, right? So it's just people, if they like you, they'll claim you. If they don't like you, they won't. It's kind of like, it is based on feelings. It's like but that's why I like to go based on just, this is what I am. I'm just a mixed person, period. Like, just go based off who you are instead of like trying to identify as, I don't know. That's just, I think that the goalpost is always moving based on.
But it exists. It exists because you have a lot of people here that would tell you, like, for example, I respect when Latinos say they are mixed, because we have family members that are either indigenous or they're white, and they don't want to disrespect that. That's literally, that could be your grandma or your aunt or your mother or your father, so you really don't want to disrespect that side also by just being disingenuous and say like, oh, we're not gonna, acknowledge that side.
That's what I said too.
So I think, to be honest with you, we need to come to terms that when a person says that they are mixed and they actually are, we have to respect that, because that doesn't mean that they're anti-Black. That means that they have to honor. It's kind of like the same thing. It's the same thing that happened with Tiger Woods when he said he was Caucasian. I'm like, so he's supposed to ignore his mother that carried him for 9 months, breastfeed him, took care of him, and literally, was taking care of him and raised him, because he only has one Black parent and that's the only one that he should acknowledge. Otherwise, he's a coon. That makes no sense.
I didn't even know that.
Well, yeah, like me personally, like my mother is a Black woman, my dad's a white man, and I love the Black community. I love Black people. And that's why I was so pro-black for so long, because I love them. But I just hate that our identity is not respected in that community. If we say we're mixed and all of a sudden we're anti-black, and it's just crazy to me. Like, I really don't like that. But I do love, like, I'm very connected to that part of myself.
Like I would say that I've even heard certain white folks even say, if my daughter has a mixed kid or my son has a mixed kid, that's not part of our community. I heard white people say
they say that. That's why they invented the one drop rule. So
yeah. So
as much as possible.
So I've heard it. I heard it from both sides, and I'm like, God damn. So I understand why the certain mixed people completely disown both sides. And like, hey, yo, we're our own people. It is what it is. Let's join together our light skinned brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why. You know what I mean? But also in the same time, knowing that, I also see a lot of disconnect with other communities saying that, light skinned people, that's not us, like, which is wild to me.
Which is wild, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a lot of work there between even like Latino trying to unify with the black community, and even biracial people who are half black trying to unite and have our community united with the black community. There's a lot of work that needs to be done all around, right? Because there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. There's been a lot of hurt. There's been a lot of pain, but I think action and just trying to find common values in each other. So I think that's the
Mulata, let me ask you before I'm gonna let people in. I'm gonna send the link out. I'm gonna let people in. Hold on, just give it a couple of minutes. Mulata, let me ask you, what do you think outside of trying to unite with certain individuals? Outside of that, what do you think the biracial, multiracial community's biggest issue is?
Our biggest issue is just how our identity is not respect. It's like an insult. Like in the black community, it's like, oh, I'll call you a biracial, a mutt, a dog. Like, it's like our identity is not respected at all. It's like you have to pick a side type of thing.
Oh, you got to prove yourself, right?
You got to prove yourself. So that's the biggest thing. That's why I really respect like Latin American cultures, because you guys respect mixed race identity. It's not like, oh, you have to pick a side. Like, I like that. I just really do like that. I want that here in the United States of America, that we could just be like, hey, I'm mixed. It is not a big issue. It's not like, oh, you must hate your blackness, or you must hate. Like, I don't want that. Like, that's all I want. That's all.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick to piggyback to what Magic Mulata is saying? Because I've seen what she's saying is true. One thing I would say is that there is only an expectation, and I think Black folks need to walk away from that, because it's being very detrimental. I've heard, and I want the girls here to tell me if you have not heard this many times from other girls that are not necessarily dark-skinned girls. Have you heard girls with like different textures of hairs complaining how they cannot get their curls in because they drop because of the texture of their hair? Have you ever heard that among other girls?
Yes. The texturism conversation.
Have you heard that, girls with like straight hair, they're like, oh my God, I hate my hair because I cannot get the curls to stay. Have you ever heard that? Okay. Have you ever heard? Yeah.
Anybody hear me?
Have you heard that, Hazel?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. I've heard that from many women on TikTok who want curls and they just can't get it. And it could be some of them are black and some of them are white.
So have you guys heard a lot of girls with like a more white skin, kind of like Casperish type of skin color, complaining about how they need the right tan and getting self-tanning, airbrush tanning, and all this? Have you guys heard these things?
No. Yeah, I live in a white community. Like where I live in Washington State, so it's very, very white here.
It's very common here too. We see the tanning beds, the tanning creams, the tanning sprays. So my thing is, when we see other races of women doing and hating aspects that come associated with their race, like hair and skin and other features, it is very acceptable for them to go get lip injections because they hate the thin lips that come with whiteness. It's very acceptable for them to get tanning creams. Nobody judged them. It's very acceptable for them to hate their straight hair because it doesn't curl up. But then when a dark-skinned lady does it or a dark-skinned girl does it, now she's not supposed to hate those traits. It's an expectation of perfection that we're always, and I think Black folks need to separate themselves from that. They need to separate themselves from the expectation they place on themselves of loving themselves, because nobody does. Nobody that I know personally loves every feature that comes with their race and is happy with it. We're all unhappy with the way we look to a degree. That's what we do enhancements on it. So when we see Black Americans being demanded that they love everything that comes associated with their race, otherwise they're coonish or they're self-hating or whatever, we need to, and I don't think we do these things. I think they are placing this self-hate upon themselves. They need to divorce from that self-hatred, because it's showing a pattern that I'm seeing, that they expect themselves to be perfect, which most likely will lead you to failure. You're going to fail if you expect to be perfect. So why are we judging that, oh, self-hate only when it's Black, but we don't judge self-hate when it comes from white people or like light-skinned people like ourselves? Because I know I don't like my shade. I don't like that my veins speak through, that everything leaves some mark. There's a lot of things I don't like. That's why I tan. So again, when we see these things, why perfection is only demanded specifically by Black folks for the most part, why they're only demanding themselves to be perfect and love every aspect of themselves. That's a question that I'm going to leave in the air for people to answer eventually to themselves.
Before anybody answers, I want to give a huge shout out to Big T. Thank you for the $5. Big T says, I'm one of those Black Americans who accept all my mixed people as Black. There are more of us out there, to be honest. Ashamed the Black makes us look bad. Ashamed that the hate of us make us look bad. Yeah, shout out to Big T. I got a couple of people in the back. Mulata, you want to answer what Denise said?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because I do think that white girls do get a lot of smoke from Black women for like black fishing and mixed fishing. So I think they do get smoke from Black women, but they don't get it from like their own men. Like I feel like they like Black men give Black women a lot of smoke for doing the weaves and the freaking lace fronts and whatever, right? But I don't see a lot of white men sitting here like, oh, you're getting all these BBLs and lip shots, and they don't really. So it's interesting dynamics there that I see. Like, I think that you should love yourself. I don't think that anybody should hate themselves. I think you should try to love yourself as much as you can, of course. But yeah, you said it's unrealistic to just try to be perfect.
That's conventional. That's modern wisdom that doesn't work. No one loves themselves. If you will love yourself, then you wouldn't be wearing clothes to begin with. Let me tell you that much.
Be naked.
Yeah, we all will be naked. That because why would you want to cover up your body? Why do we put makeup on? Why men get haircuts? And before the men,
I wear makeup. You know, I do
enhancements. Why you think the camera's not on? Now let
me
stop.
Look, before the men come for us with the makeup, look, you do contour. You guys invented contour in your face. It's called a beard. You don't believe me? Go look at Drake. Go look at Drake. Go look at Drake without his beard.
Wait a minute. I can take this beard off right now. See, look, baby face.
Look, if you did not really care about the way you love yourself completely, you will not do anything to enhance your image. That includes perfume. You don't need that to have a good hygiene. You do that to enhance the way you're perceived. You wouldn't wear good clothes and combine them. Normal clothes or whatever clothes you can slap on will suffice, etc., etc.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I'll be perfectly fine with sweatpants and a holy t-shirt and I'll be good? Get out of here, Denise.
If you love yourself like people say they do, that's what I'm saying. Well, none of us do. No one loves themselves. If I love myself, I would not wear freaking makeup. I would not even blow dry my hair. No one loves themselves completely. That's a lie.
No, so okay,
that is not true.
Wait, before
you
I
can love yourself and you can
let
do
people
enhancement.
before I let people win.
No.
Wait. Before I let people win, hold on. Before I let people win, I just gotta say one thing. I think it's kind of different from women to men because women listen. Women usually enhance themselves to get the attraction from other men.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
not true either.
Do you wear makeup to go to bed? I don't think so.
No, I wear
makeup.
I wear makeup to attract my husband. That is a fact. We do wear
Well,
makeup
there
for
you
men.
go. There you go.
So one thing I'm gonna say, you do as men also wear perfume to attract women. Don't stop the cap.
It's
You
cologne.
do.
It's
The
cologne.
cologne,
Come on. You
Shut-
do. You do.
Wait. Shout out to Curve. No, let me stop.
Look, you do actually dress up to attract women and get women's attention. So again, to be honest with you, I will say everyone in the world. Well, Kevin, see, if most black men love themselves,
you're gonna have a.
but this is my thing. This is when it comes disingenuous again. If most black men love themselves, they will be dressed their best, they will smell their best, and they will not kill each other. And that is a fact. Black men kill more black men than any other race kills black men.
Okay.
I'm just keeping it real.
Wait. Hold on, wait, real quick, Hazel. I'm gonna let you talk and then I'm gonna let the people in. Shout out to Kevin C. He says more black men love themselves than these. Period. Exactly. And I think he snapped his fingers when he said, "Not just playing."
Highly doubt it.
Hazel, say what you gotta say, and then I'm gonna let the people win that's in the back, and I'm gonna introduce them. Hazel, say what you gotta say.
I honestly, the reason why I get a lot of flack on here when I was showing myself was because of what Denise said. If you loved yourself, you would dress regular clothes. You wouldn't have anything matching. You wouldn't have nothing name brand. You wouldn't be wearing perfume, makeup, all that stuff. I do all that thing. I do all those things. I'm not really feminine at all. I'm very hippie-like, very nature-like. And I got married. No, because I love myself. I accept myself for how I am and what I look like. I don't do my hair every day. I don't go out looking for attention. Even when I met my husband, he met me and we had a great time together. I wasn't looking for anyone. So when people use enhancements and stuff like that, it is the individual. You cannot say that people are using these things or doing these things because they don't love themselves. That is an opinion. We cannot really say stuff like that about everyone. That is just what they want to do. Maybe they do love themselves, but they like how this particular thing looks on them.
Hazel, you're cutting off real bad. You sound like a robot, like a Puerto Rican robot.
You know what? Hello.
No, we can kind of hear you, but you're cutting off like real bad. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in the middle of a hurricane. There's a hurricane coming here, so
God, you in the eye of the hurricane? You calling it? Yes. Girl, that's not a case. Yes. That's not a case.
You know that Nicole is coming. Nicole is coming.
Oh, okay, all right. So let me introduce the people that's coming in. So Kevin C is in the building. Shout out to Kevin C.
Hi, Kevin.
Kevin C, say what's up to the
ladies and gentlemen. To you as the host and to everybody on the panel and the people in the chat.
Thank you. And I got 18th letter. You know, shout out to him. Rakim, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people and all that. Rakim, you're Rakim, you're. He'll come in. Don't worry about it. I got Jose in the building. Jose.
Hi.
Everybody's granddad.
Good afternoon, everybody in the chat.
What's going on? Now, wait, even though I said this already, even though I said this already, but a lot of people might not understand it. This conversation is for Black Americans and Latinos only, not FBA. So, I don't know. Voodoo, are you FBA? I don't know. I think you are, bro. I don't know if should I let him in? Should I not?
Ooh, Voodoo?
Give him a chance.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Yo, Voodoo, what's going on, bro?
Hello.
What's up? Okay.
Oh no, this is the guy who doesn't like Latinos, but he had a Puerto Rican stepfather. No.
Okay. Kevin C, go. Kevin C, I know you've been hearing everything that we had to say. Give us your point of view, and then I'll just go down the line. Kevin C, just go ahead, bro.
Yeah, hey, so the point of what you're talking about is really you're talking about black and brown unity. Is that the whole point of what you're talking about here?
Not only black and brown unity, being honest about both of our communities, the good and the bad, not being disingenuous. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, I can support that. Now, the only thing I would say to that is with the black and brown unity, then you guys actually did make a point. Both sides have to offer something to each other, and I think that's probably the major sticking point. If you're gonna, if people are gonna have any disagreement with it, is black people are gonna ask you, well, what do we get for the, for unite? They're gonna ask you that because, and that's fair, because usually what happens is black people will unite with somebody, and then they'll get what they get, and then they kind of get tossed to the side. So that's going to be the biggest sticking point. So what do black people get? What do black men get? I mean, I know you guys are looking at the elections and what's going on, and there's a whole lot of talk about what black men are doing and not doing. But right now, black men are asking, what do we get when we, put ourselves out there, when we assist and line up with other folks, when we do the stuff we're supposed to do? What are we getting from that?
I agree. So, it should always be mutual, right? It should like allyship. It goes both ways. It's not just one.
Absolutely.
But one thing I would say is that, okay, when people unite, what you get is numbers, because literally black folks right now cannot provide anything of value to a Latino. And that is a fact. Latinos cannot provide anything of value to black folks. And that is a fact. So what we both get out of this is numbers. We don't have anything to offer. You guys don't have anything to offer. And that is, I think that's why we keep getting into the same roadblock, because we think we're taking stuff from each other when we're really not, because we really don't have anything to offer.
That's actually true.
So what we get,
I would disagree with that.
What we get is that you can disagree, but that is a fact. We're broke as hell, and you guys are broke as hell. So one thing I would say is that
you guys have a whole
hold on, Hazel. This is my thing. You are 46 million people in America alone without anyone to unite. And you see how that's going. You saw the 3 cats that show up to the reparations rally on Saturday. Now,
but Denise, we've never had anybody.
No, hold on.
Let her finish.
But united with other groups, we're talking about 1/3 of America if you unite with Latinos, because we're almost to 60 million people. So 66. If you unite with us, you have 1/3 of the country with the same agenda. And we also have 1/3 of the country with the same agendas that we need. It's not the same message as just 3 cats or just 1/4 of the country. You have 1/3 of the nation that's aligning for both purposes. That is what we get out of this. And people, make no mistake, we're not going to like each other. And I've said this for over a year and a half. We are not going to like each other. We don't like each other, and that is okay. We just got to respect each other and work together. We're not going to agree on anything. We're not going to agree on everything either, but we're not going to give each other anything because we're trying to get things, because we don't have anything.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah. So,
do you want to answer that? Do you want to?
Yeah. So again, I would disagree with you, Denise, because black people actually do have some things that we can offer.
What are those that we need?
I'm not talking about finances and all this other stuff and everything else, but all I will say is that when things happen, black people actually do unite to actually
Exactly, we said that earlier.
Okay, but give me tangibles, not lip service, because that's what politicians
do. Well, so
why do you guys have to say that?
Here's the problem with that, and this goes to the tangible thing, is that whenever it does happen, it's almost as if people absolutely, and I hate to get into this, but it's almost as if people don't actually see what happens with the sabotage, with the undermining, with we got people still out here getting killed to this day. Now, I don't want to get into all that.
Kevin, the tangibles. Let's stay on topic. What tangibles do you bring to the table?
What tangibles?
Exactly. What tangibles do you say you guys have to offer? That's what you're demanding from us, to bring a dowry, basically, to unite.
And that's the problem with the whole uniting thing.
But what's your dowry? I'm still trying to figure out, what do you say you guys bring to the table? What is it that you bring to the table other than numbers? Because I'm good with the numbers. You are the one that's not good with numbers. You think the numbers don't count for anything. I think they're very valuable.
Well, the numbers do count, but again, I just see all the problems associated with. We have people in our own group that are literally undermining the people. Like, it's hard to actually unite with somebody else when we have to weed out the problem children in our own group. That's the first thing. Everybody knows about the Haitian Revolution.
Wait. Let Kevin finish.
Everybody knows about the Haitian Revolution. One of the first things they did in the Haitian Revolution was got rid of all the saboteurs and conspirators and anybody who wasn't on code. That's the first thing they did. And without us doing that, it doesn't matter whatever it is we bring. We're not. You're right. We do have the numbers and all this other stuff and everything else. But if the idea is we're supposed to be bringing something, then there's been an effort to make sure Black people don't have anything. We're seeing that right now with Kanye and Kyrie. All right, now, and I'll say something else too, and I'll pass it on to somebody else. Is that you guys were actually talking more from a woman's perspective on how things are as it relates to biracials, loving yourself, and all that other stuff. That's stuff that you guys are dealing with. So it's good that you brought men on the panel to kind of bring a counterbalance to this, because I can tell you that most men don't have this problem. Most Black men don't have this problem. All that stuff you guys were talking about. It's a real thing for you. I'm not saying that it's not a real thing, and I'm not denying it. I know it does happen, and that's what you women have to deal with, but that's not really on the men's side. Men have a whole different thing that we have to worry about. But I'll go ahead and pass the mic on to somebody else.
Wait. Hold on. No, wait. Hold on. I gotta bring some order. Because I know Mulata wants to respond.
The answer is not there.
Wait, Denise, hold on. I gotta bring some order to this. Mulata, say what you gotta say, because I'm gonna bring it to the 18
my
later.
question to the Latino community: do you guys support reparations for Black people?
I do.
I support reparations. See, that's something. I think that's cool. I think that's great to me. So yeah, that was just my question.
Okay, cool.
Now, my question was not answered. My question, I asked a question and it was not answered. What are the tangibles? I don't want answers about I've been sabotaged. We have been sabotaged too.
Denise, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The numbers, that's the biggest thing.
Kevin.
That's the biggest thing, and the issues that we need.
Kevin is the only thing. Denise, tell me what tangibles.
Denise, I think we understand what you were saying, but it looked like Kevin tried to answer the best way he could. If you want to go back to it, you can, but I have to go and continue with this whole thing. 18th letter. I know you've been here for a while. You got kicked off or whatever the case is. Say what you got to say, bro.
Yeah, Denise, what's up with this? Black people kill each other because they hate themselves and all of this other stuff. I'm a little disappointed with that statement coming from you, especially being off of the island where the murder rate is 4 times as much.
Because we hate
in
ourselves.
the United States.
And we hate ourselves. I've said everyone
it's more
does.
To it than that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So why a Puerto Rican should kill another Puerto Rican when we full well know that there is a war against all of us for over 125 years? Why a Puerto Rican will kill another Puerto Rican? Make sense.
We've all heard the term self-preservation is the first law in nature. So maybe it's a situation. Come on, Denise. Maybe it's a situation where it's petty street beefs or it's drugs involved that
because we don't love
is connected to money,
and
somebody is trying to make money for themselves or whatever like that. It's more to it than just I hate myself. Let me go out here and kill other people. It's not.
Okay, let me take your logic and put it this way. When we in the island, and I'm taking the conversation from Black Americans. Look, when in the island, we were slave people in the sugarcane plantation, and there was a lynching. How do you think Puerto Ricans look at each other when we were under the boot of Spain? Do you think we will kill each other, or you think we will help each other and preserve each other's lives? Because that was at the high top of oppression and white supremacy. Do you think we kill each other, or you think we help each other survive?
People, it can go both ways.
No, answer that question, because I'm getting a little irritated with the avoidance of answers. Did we help
I think you're irritated in general, Denise. You're irritated in general because you're not letting anybody speak. You're cutting people off every time they speak.
Because you guys don't answer the question. It's a direct question. Answer it directly. Otherwise, it's disingenuous.
I'm gonna answer it directly. In the beginning, more than likely, no, it's not disingenuous. And it's not for you to say that about people's responses because you don't like their response.
No, I didn't. It's not that I didn't like. It's you don't answer the question. Kevin did not answer the question.
Let him answer the question. Let him go. Go ahead, Rakim.
All right. First and foremost, it was different back in those days because it was about survival, especially coming fresh out of the plantations. But as time goes on and people are living in poor, inhumane conditions, or people are living in poverty, then people are thinking about themselves. So with that comes crime, and with crime comes a situation of people trying to survive, and they're committing crimes based off of their survival. In most cases. In most cases, I'm not saying all the time, because you got people out here that are just sick criminals, but in a lot of the times that's what happens. Just like no different from favelas in Brazil and killings in other places like that. It's not just based
Gotcha.
off of what you're
Let me
saying.
let me ask you, Rakim, and me. I've automatically never really went to the whole black and black crime type of thing because I know that's a myth. Crime is everywhere. I understand that. But I also do understand that there's going to be a high level of crime within one community if it's more poor or whatever the case is, right? But do you at least see where Denise was trying to come from when it came to those type of when it came to that type of topic? That there is going to be a high level of crime the more poor and destitute a community is within each other.
Absolutely, that's what I was just saying. Like it's going
No,
to, of course,
but I don't
any
agree with that though.
So one
yeah.
of the things that, and I'm not trying to cut you up, but one of the things that Denise is doing is she's dismissing all the conditions that actually get you to that point. That's what you're doing.
Oh, here we go.
When you say where are the tangibles, you're acting as if black people don't bring anything. Like we don't have intellect, we don't have specialists, we don't have attorneys, doctors.
I don't say none of those.
That. I don't think she's saying that.
It's
I believe. I think
we can't bring expertise to something that we're trying to do.
Kevin, I think her point was that if we're talking about tangibles, you guys are not bringing no tangibles. Latinos are not bringing no tangibles. The only thing that we're bringing tangibly is our numbers. That's going to help each other.
That I can agree with.
I believe that's what her point was.
That's literally what
I can agree with the numbers, but if we got to bring something in order to ally with you, then what? Then what's the point?
That's what you said.
Wait, the only person that ever said anything about bringing anything was you.
Okay, but
no, that's not what I said. What I said was, what do we get for working with other people?
No, exactly. The only person that ever brought something about getting something is you. That's
because the whole point is to get something out of the allyship. You get something, we get something. That's how it works.
It's numbers. It's numbers. Yes.
So
okay, but I mean, but you're working towards 3 or 4 different goals. So you may not, if you got 4 different goals, you may get 2 out of those 3, but you got to at least get 2. You got to get something.
Check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. If Latinos and Blacks united under one goal of reparations for Black Americans, do you know that shit will happen literally overnight?
I think white people actually, push real hard against it.
Now that joint will happen overnight because Latinos are getting all type of benefits because they're being criminalized from them cages. Latinos are getting all type of benefits from California and all that other stuff. Maybe, I don't know, if we're getting all the benefits, we probably know what the hell we're doing.
I don't know.
Uniting, maybe that will probably help out.
I don't know if it's so much as you guys know what you're doing as much as it's being allowed, because there's an incentive for that things like that to happen. I mean, part of that too is the economic exploitation and everything else.
Well, first of all, we didn't allow our women to get hysterectomies being performed on them. That was
nobody allows that because nobody knows that's happening.
A whistleblower ended up doing that, and there was grassroots, Latino grassroots on the ground, blowing the whistle on that, and they're the reason why them Latinos are getting reparations for being in them cages, for getting their uterus ripped out. Those are the reasons why. So what I'm saying is, it's not because they allow and one day they just woke up, oh golly gee, we're so mean to the Latinos. No, there was actually real grassroots movements that was actually happening down in Texas, California, and New Mexico. So don't say that it's just allowed out of nowhere. If we're really allowed to get certain things, maybe uniting will allow you to get certain things also.
I could agree with that, but I'm just saying if white people said no, then you wouldn't get it at all.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line. I think you know that.
Nobody will get nothing. You're right.
So that only happens because white people allow it.
Okay.
If they said no, you wouldn't get it.
I got you. I'm going to move it to Jose. Jose's been quiet, and then I'm going to go to Vuvu. Jose, what's going on? What are your thoughts on this whole thing? And you muted yourself, by the way. You muted yourself, by the way. I think you need your grandson to help you with the computer.
Okay. First of all, cute. First of all, Radical, thank you for allowing me on the platform, and shout out for everyone on the panel and on the chat. I do believe in Black and brown unity, but I think we both must be honest amongst ourselves regarding what are our concerns, what are our problems, what our hangers are. We also must acknowledge the fact that in our separate communities, we have internal conflicts that only they in their respective communities can resolve. Because as much as I might try to understand what's the situation regarding the African American community, I'm not one of them. All I can do is just be a sympathetic ear and stay in the background. Okay. And we must also acknowledge the people who are giving our respective communities a bad name, because the majority of us, whether it be Black or Latino, are great people. Unfortunately, it is the bad ones that always get the bad press, and then the whole community is held up to ridicule simply because some of them, access anything racist or stupid.
Gotcha. I'm gonna move it to Vuvu. Even though you FBA, people wanted you to come in. It seems like you're the crowd favorite now. Shout out to you. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this whole thing? And by the way, the other dude that's in the back, bro, I'm not allowing FBA here. I'm allowing Black Americans to come in and talk. So come in tomorrow. So Vuvu, what you got to say about this topic?
Well, I am FBA by the way. I just say that I got to keep it real. It wouldn't work because of y'all. It ain't us. We always been talking about Black and brown lives, our brown brothers, Rainbow Coalition. That's been us talking like that. We've been bringing y'all on our platform. Y'all been on BT. Y'all been all in everything. We always included y'all in everything. In everything to the point to where y'all running around here talking about y'all niggas now. Y'all trying to tell us y'all created our culture, stuff that we've been doing for hundreds of years. Y'all coming over here and saying, yeah, it's half our culture. So it ain't been us. It's been y'all. That's something y'all will have to work on. Y'all can't even come to an agreement on what is a Latino. Is it just a Spanish last name? Anybody with a Spanish last name, is that Latino over here? Y'all, that's y'all. All this has been completely one-sided. Y'all said that it's racism on both sides. How so? I would like for one of the Black Americans to explain to me when Auntie Keisha said stay away from the Puerto Rican kids, or when Uncle Pookie said stay away from the Dominican kids. We don't teach that type of stuff in the home. That's not a part of our culture.
Yeah, you're generally right. That doesn't really happen.
Okay, got it. I want
I will say that part.
Wait. Hold on. This is FBA culture right here.
I'm telling y'all, this is why people dislike Black women. I don't give a shit what y'all say. Stop saying people bash Black women. Black women are fucking stupid. In large numbers, they're idiots. In large numbers, they're irritating. In large numbers.
Yeah, Tommy Sotomayor. Nobody.
Wait. Hold on.
Yo, fuck them African booty scratching ass niggas, man. The fuck?
It's Rico switching the camps for me.
Wait, can I say something? Hey, can y'all hear me? And no, we don't got no fufu. We don't got no pepes. We don't got none of that shit. We don't got none of that nasty cane juice bullshit y'all be drinking that make your throat drier and it don't hydrate y'all. We don't got none of that for y'all.
Oh, what?
And I wish a raggedy Black American bitch would pop out with some motherfucking kente cloth, bitch. I'm flipping personally.
Yeah, that's racism right there. That's FBA racism. So
now you
Nah,
want to
you
play
know.
the other
not just
side,
that.
Rad? Are you going
Nah,
to play
that
the other
nah, you
I
just
side?
built
always,
a big straw man.
Rakim, I always play the other side. You came into
That was a
this
straw
channel
man.
for
That
me
was a
playing the
super
other
straw
side. So
Wait, were
let's
man.
not
those
do
two
that.
people just
No, no, no,
arguing?
no, 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 no,
What
no,
you
no,
Let's
no.
talking
not
about,
do
What
that.
bro?
I'm
So
saying,
what I'm
what,
what
no,
I,
no,
no no no
listen,
what I'm trying
listen.
to say. What I'm trying to say is yes, there's racism on both sides. I just gave you an example of racism on both sides. I wish a raggedy bitch would wear a kente cloth so I could slap the shit, bro. That yeah, and you're agreeing to that. Thank you for proving that you guys are a hate group. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
hold
Thank
on, wait.
you.
No, hold
Thank
on,
you.
wait,
What I'm
No,
bro.
thank you.
wait, hold,
Thank you. Thank you very
You ain't
much.
serious, bro.
Thank
You
you
ain't
right
serious.
there.
So,
first of
so
all,
the
Thank
only
you.
thing
He
with
ain't
that,
serious.
I'll say,
He can't be serious. He
What do you mean I
can't be
can't be
serious.
serious? Is that not
Well,
what
let
they
me tell you.
just said?
Listen, we
That's
always
FBA.
consider
No, that's FBA, bro.
we
That's
always consider
FBA.
these
That's one
people to
right
be
here. FBA. I officially
oh
hate
my god,
Africans
you trolling, you
more
trolling.
than white
Radical, you
people. I'm
trolling.
not trolling. This is the shit right
You
there,
is
bro.
though.
This is
All
it right
right.
there, bro. Come on. This is
We all
This is exactly why I didn't want FBA in the fucking group. This is exactly why I didn't want FBA to come in, because they're gonna derail the bullshit and say something else. This is exactly what it is, and this is why I want Black Americans and Latinos to have a conversation. That FBA bullshit that goes some other time, not now. So, does anybody got any disagreements when it comes to that?
yeah, because I definitely got a disagreement with that. 1 second, I'm not saying that that's not harsh, but can you play the clubhouse conversations and all the tweets of a lot of other people saying how much they so better than Black Americans, and Black Americans are slaves and we
Because
are
that's a
dysfunctional and different
reaction.
things like that?
That's a reaction from the
What?
FBA.
Oh, come on,
Dude,
Radical. No,
bro.
they were saying
Reaction
this
from the FBA.
prior to this whole blow up. Come on, Radical. You got to keep it a G, bro.
Dude, I'm not denying. That's okay. He left. I'm not denying that there's certain of African Americans that said those type of things, but FBA back then they weren't called FBA. They were Black Americans. Back then they were like, oh, this is a myth. It's not true. Black Africans love us. But now, out of nowhere, FBA is starting some bullshit, and now they go like, "Oh, look at what's going on." No, it's a reaction. That's what it is.
Okay. Do you guys think that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wait, Kevin.
I think Rakim fell off, but
wait. Somebody was gonna talk. Who was gonna talk?
Okay. Do you guys? There's racism in every group, right? Every group has racism. Period. Right?
Yeah.
But do you guys think the majority of each group is racism? So I don't think that's a reason why people can't unite is because there's racist in a group. Like, I think there is still. Yeah, so I don't think that's, oh, you guys are racist. You guys have been
racist. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just because there's certain people doing it doesn't mean the whole group.
In every group, so you don't have to. But I actually think it's unrealistic to try to unite every single group together. We just got to find certain people. Like, hey, maybe we have this goal. You have this goal. Certain people who are gonna want to unite, because you can't force unity, right? At the end of the day, you can't force it on anybody who don't want it, and that's
you guys. But a lot of us are ignoring the obvious. A lot of us are ignoring the fact that a lot of this stuff stems from one thing. I'm not saying that you don't have any bigoted Black Americans. We got some Black Americans that can be bigoted, but based off of from what I've seen, and I'm gonna just keep it a whole buck, based off of what I've seen, I know Black Americans to be bigoted based off of reacting. Not to just not to be on
both
the
sides is based off reaction. It's a cycle.
That is not true. No, that is not true. And I'm gonna say why. I'm gonna say why. Can I finish, please? Because everybody else.
Let Rakim talk. Let Rakim talk. Rakim, go ahead, and then I'm gonna have Hazel go, and then Mulata. Rakim, say what you guys.
First, the reason why I say that is because a lot of the times, a lot of people have this air superiority when it comes to Black Americans. Let's just keep it a buck. A lot of people that regurgitate these white talking points and regurgitate a lot of this stuff never been around white folks, ain't grew up around white folks, don't know anything about any type of history, haven't done any type of research, haven't educated themselves on anything. They just got this talking point from an air of superiority, especially if they're coming from situations of being taught anti-Blackness. Let's just keep it real. We keep avoiding this whole situation, especially like Magic Mulata. We know it's a lot of biracials out there that identify more with their Black side is because of how poorly they was mistreated by their white side. We know that. I'm not saying
earlier. We talked about that. Yeah, that's true.
And then on top of it all,
let's on both sides. But we get treated poorly on both sides. That's the problem. That's what
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that people don't get treated, but black people tend to be, in my personal opinion, I know it may be people that disagree with me, but black people tend to be more embracive than a lot of other people. And that's one thing I will agree to do said. We don't get taught not to be around other groups of people as a child. We don't get taught that.
And Jose probably had the best point is that he as somebody who's from a different group, you may not be able to understand the internal issues associated with one particular group. But I would say that you got to get rid of the people, or actually weed out the people who are creating problems within your own group. And those people don't need to be in charge. They don't need to be leaders. That's one of the problems that we're having right now. And I see that everywhere. And I tell you guys that all the time. And, you guys say, well, I don't want to hear about sabotage and undermining and all this other stuff. But I can guarantee you the black people are not going to get anywhere until we get rid of the Larry Elders, until we get rid of the Candace Owens, until we get rid of the Jason Whitlocks and the Brandon Tatums. They are there everywhere to sabotage and undermine black people at every turn, who are actually trying to do the right thing, who are trying to dismiss all of this stuff as it relates to not unifying and actually linking up with other groups. There are people who are put in place to make sure that we don't unify from our own group. We have traitors within our own group, and if we don't get rid of them, and I'm not saying take them out, I'm just talking about get them out of positions, and that's actually that's a huge discussion right now, and there's actually things to make sure that happens. For example, the Democrats are going to lose all the way around in every election, and they don't need to be in charge. The ones who are in charge right now, they need to be out. If they need to lose elections for the next 20 years, I'm fine with that. I don't care if the Republicans run anything. I don't care if the Libertarians or the Green Party or anybody else other than the Democrats. I'm fine with it for the next 20, 30 years or until the day that I die, as long as Democrats are not in charge, because they're ruining everything for black people all the way around the board.
Yeah. I want Hazel to go now. Hazel, say what you got to say, because I know you're trying to speak.
It is taught, racism, prejudice, however you want to view it, is taught on a side. It is not factual. It's not taught to hate one group of people just because you're a minority group. It is. I've had my experiences in New York City where I was told blatantly that because I'm Puerto Rican and I think that I'm better than black women, that's why she didn't like me. And there was a younger generation than that person. This was a grown person who told me that. And then there were teenagers in high school who do that to me. I cannot hold a whole race of people accountable for what these individuals have done. Because like in my community, the majority of us are not teaching our children to be prejudiced or hate other groups of people. It's the same in the black community. You cannot be asking others to give you something in order to unite. What you will get is like what they said. You will get the numbers and you will get mutual respect. When two groups of people, with two groups of minorities who are fighting for resources or clawing out of the bottom hole there, it's best to unite. It's like a human ladder. We all have to get out of this bottomness. And it's not, what you're going to give me if I put my shoulder for you to stand on. Because what's going to happen is another person is going to help you. We're going to keep on pulling each other up. That is the only way. If you don't want that, if you want to be tribal and stuff like that, you have that right to do that. You cannot go around saying that this group of people, especially if you were raised by someone in that community, like the man who was kicked out of here, he was raised by a Puerto Rican stepfather. You cannot go around saying that these group, the majority of them, it is taught to them that they should be this and that against my group. Because I can tell you, and many other Latinos and biracial people can tell you, they have experienced that from your same group. So we should not be around here arguing about, well, your people did this to my people, your people, this is what you guys are taught about us, this, because we're sitting right here. You have a group of people sitting right here telling you that is not us. That is not how we were raised, and we all want to come together. You can't keep on arguing about these things. You can't keep on saying, well, this, and this. This is not the experience you're having right now because you're sitting down and talking to all of us.
Look, I agree with you guys on uniting and the numbers, and then on top of that, actually uniting against for common causes. But again,
you have a black caucus. You have a national black caucus. We don't have any national caucus, and we are here in this country trying to make something out of what is happening right now. For the majority of us to survive, you can't be out in another country enjoying the fruit and the labor of and the resources of that other country coming in here, coming arguing about things that are being taken from your side.
I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean? What do you mean?
We have to learn how to get along. If you're not going to get along, you're going to keep on having these rifts. But you're sitting here and you're listening to a couple of non-black people telling you that that's what we want. You can't keep on complaining about these politicians. You don't like the politicians. You got to be over here.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is to get them out.
You got to be over here voting these people out, and then you can be the change that you want to see. You want all these changes? You should be here.
That's what black people are doing right now, Hazel. Why do you think
that's what black men are doing right now, getting these politicians out?
None of you are voting for these offices. None of you are out here trying to run for these offices. More of you have to run out for these offices.
I'm not a politician, Hazel. I'm not a politician.
Everybody doesn't need to be a politician.
That's the problem, is that you're not a politician, but what I'm saying is you guys can try and run. Try it and get that change, because you're not seeing it. So you actually have to implement.
No. There are people who are actually. There are people who.
I'll vote for Rakim. I'll vote for him.
Interested in doing that, and they're doing it.
I'll become a Chicago citizen.
But the idea is that people are the ones who don't know what they're supposed to do right now. You said there's a CBC, but that CBC is in effect.
You guys seem like you agree with the Green Party.
What?
You guys should go and vote for those type of people, or at least push for more of those politicians.
The Green Party, that's what she said. The Green Party.
The Green Party.
No. Black men are going to vote for the people who push forward their interests, whatever that is. I mean, if it's a Green Party, that's fine. But I mean, black men are going to vote for the people who push their interests.
Wait, real quick, because I'm about to start wrapping up. Jose wants to go.
All right, but listen, let me go. Let me go. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. I'm gonna jump out, right?
All right, Jose, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, as far as running for politics, okay, that's easier said than done. First of all, because number one, unfortunately, in order to be a successful politician, you either have to have a huge amount of money or you have to have a huge number of followers, okay? And to be perfectly honest, not everyone is not meant to be a politician, because that means you're going to open yourself up to such a huge degree of scrutiny. Now, I go back to what I said before. I do agree that we can unite, but not everyone is going to unite with us. So we don't worry about those who don't want to unite with us. We deal with those who want to unite with us, and then we together can do what we can to try and make things a little bit better for all.
Yeah. Real quick, Kevin, I know that you live in Honduras. Have you heard any family members or anybody saying don't play or don't hang out with your daughters or you because you guys are black?
No. Matter of fact, a lot of the black enclaves are actually surrounded by a bunch of different type of people. So no, they don't really understand that there's enclaves, and then there's the black population is relatively separate versus where everybody else, you have the indigenous population and you have the mestizo population. But I'll say this: there's a lot more unity and people loving each other and working together, and there's much less of the discord that I see in the United States. And I say that about most of Central and South America. Now, understand that I'm looking at this from somebody who's not native born down here, and other than a few incidents of racism, I've been treated pretty well.
Yeah. Why I wanted to point that out was because, just like Rakim said, and I agree with them, but not 100%, that you are now starting to see some Black Americans say, who are part of the FBA crowd, don't hang out with Africans, do not hang out with Latinos, and they're having this negative disposition. Okay, cool. Now, saying that Black Americans don't do that now at this time and moment, that's a lie, because you do actually have some Black Americans who are doing that. Now, are Latinos doing that the same thing? There's few that's doing it the same way how there's few Black Americans that's doing it, which is called FBA. And there's also few African immigrants who are doing that as well. I understand there's bad on both sides. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that there's only one and all this other stuff. The thing is that what we got to understand is whenever we have conversations like this is to leave those outliers and those little insignificant percentages at the door when we actually have conversations like this. Because when I have conversations with Black Americans, the first thing I'm not thinking about is black on black crime and rap music and all this. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm thinking about, okay, let's have a conversation with somebody that is part of that community who has a different mindset. That's all. And have a promising discourse, because some people from that community, from their community, will agree with what they say. Other people might not. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta basically say. I'm gonna start closing out now. I'm gonna let Kevin C go first. Kevin C, give me your 1 minute closeout statement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with you guys on numbers. I'm going to agree with you guys bringing expertise and organizing experience and a whole bunch of other stuff and whatever else Black people can bring. The only other thing I would say is it just needs to be on the same sheet of music with anybody else, whether it's Latinos, even white liberals. If they really want to help, usually they screw things up and they try to take over and try to run and direct it. But as long as they're actually pushing forth the agenda and making sure that they get something out of it, Hispanics get something out of it, and even Asians, if they want to be a part of it, everybody gets something, and that makes sense to me. But if people aren't getting what they want, then I don't see how you're going to unite. And then the other thing too is you got to get rid of the agent provocateurs and the saboteurs in your own group.
Yeah,
get rid of them.
Thank you very much, Kevin Z. Definitely have you here for the next live talk. All right, Jose, you got 1 minute. Give me your closeout statement.
Okay, well, first of all, as always, thank you very much for allowing me on your platform. And the fact of the matter is, we need to always be honest regarding what disagreements that we have within our respective communities. We're always going to have disagreements. The main thing is we need to be civil when we disagree, and that's be mindful of the fact that within our respective communities, there are internal conflicts that only they in their community should be able to resolve. That being said, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Jose. Definitely don't be a stranger. Come back. 18 letter. Rakim, you got 1 minute. Give me your closing statement.
All right, first and foremost, I would say that it's important to understand that it's a lot of people that are moving off of emotion. They're not moving off of trying to have a conversation or trying to have any dialect, and that should just be understood. When you're speaking with certain people, you just got to speak with those certain people that have your same interests. If not, leave everybody else at the wayside. And one thing else I got to keep it real with you, Rad. You got to stop arguing with extremists on Twitter, man, because I can hear it in your voice. I know Denise been on there. I can hear it in her voice. Y'all got to stop arguing with extremists on Twitter, man, because that's clouding when you speak to actual people on your platform. So that's all I got to say.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Rakim. Don't be a stranger. I'll definitely vote for you if you become mayor of Chicago. All right. Denise. Oh, man. What's going on, Denise?
I decided to finish my pastel because I was like, all I'm going to say is first, thank you for bringing me on. I think that, we need to have a different parts of this type of conversation. Okay. 1 hour is not enough. But I would say that I am, how can I say it? I'm a little losing motivation when it comes to the union, and I'm starting to slowly understand certain people in my collective that are getting discouraged of the union. And I'm gonna be very, very honest. And we're not doing it, and we don't do it in a racist way. I'm gonna try to explain it to the best of my ability real quick. We're still going to have love for Black folks, and we're still going to have solidarity for them. But I think it's time for the people that feel like myself, we're tired of having disingenuous conversations with folks that don't want to admit that they're just as flawed as we are, and they just want to say everyone is, and they're just God's breath from the skies. It's time for us then to just let them find out that they're not as perfect, and maybe we can get together in 50 years, because it's getting a little taxing to have conversations with folks that want to do mental gymnastics when they know full well that they're flawed and they have a lot of issues, and just like we do, we're all human beings and we all do have hate for ourselves. That is a fact. So with that being said, I'm going to leave a question in the air. Nobody has to answer, just answer it to yourself. And I'm going to leave this specifically for the Black Americans that are claiming that, because they're claiming they're doing very bad and they're in poverty because everyone sabotages them. But then when you bring out the fact that they are, having behaviors that keep them poor and they're at the bottom and whatever, no, we're doing the work. So because those contradictions keep existing all the time, even though numbers don't necessarily agree with what they're claiming, I want to ask Black Americans that really think that they are for union with us, since we already named our flaws for 3 years and a half, and it's on an archive on YouTube that you can access at any times. I'm going to say, for those folks that think that Black folks are just angels from the sky, I want for the next conversation for you to think about thoroughly. I don't know when Radical's going to do another one of these combos. Think thoroughly. What are the flaws of Black Americans? What are the parts that are negatives about you? Everyone does. You're not perfect. What are bad things that you have? And let them tell us how they see themselves. If they cannot confer any defects, then that should tell us who we're dealing with and if we should genuinely take the next step. Because I care also about my collective. And I cannot keep telling people and leading people to unite with a group of people that are grown folk and are unable to understand that we're adults that are deeply flawed. And I would support that we divorce from this fantastic idea that would have worked, which is bringing people together to get stuff done for both of our groups. So I'll give that thought. It's better that they just go home and think about that for the next conversation.
That's
Otherwise, I'm gonna
that's
start.
People's homework. That's people's homework.
Yeah, that's people's homework.
Okay.
Because if not, it's time for us, Rat. And I'm being very serious. I don't know if you think the same way, but I think this way. It's time for us to start teaching then our people that we are really alone and that we have to do stuff on our own. And we will probably have to bring in more folks from Latin America to get our agenda because we need the numbers.
That is true. Yeah, we do need the numbers. You are right. All right, cool. Thank you, Denise. That's been the longest minute ever.
It was good talking to you. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you in the back because we're gonna talk offline. So I don't know, Mulatto, I don't know if you want to talk offline because we're gonna be in the back having a off-screen discussion after.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. I want to say one thing.
But I'm gonna give you a minute to say what you have to say. So give me your closing statement.
The last thing I have to say about this is accountability. Actually, honesty is the greatest form of self-love. And without honesty, you can't have accountability. And without accountability, you can't have change. So it all starts with honesty. And it really takes a really big person and a lot of self-love to be able to look at yourself in the face, flaws and all, and accept yourself and see what is in control. Because you don't worry about things you can't control, right? You can't worry about the past. You can't worry about what other people are doing. You can't control other people. Only thing you can control is yourself and your own actions, right? So you just let go of what you can't control. You worry about what you can control, and you take your power back and you say, hey, I could do this differently because I have power over myself. So it's about taking your power back and seeing what you can do to fix your community and fix your. It starts on an individual level. You can't.
But real quick, before I have you in the back, how did you like the conversation?
I loved it. I think it's a much needed. I like what Denise said about it needs to be continued. But I think it starts with honesty. Honesty is everything, and it's hard. You got to find people who are willing to be honest about things and not really want to deflect and be like, no, this. But are just willing to be honest and face harsh truth about things because it's not pretty. It doesn't make you look good. It makes you look bad, So people have egos, egos get in the way of change. Your ego is your own enemy. Your own enemy is ego.
And let me ask also, do you think that in any point of this conversation, us Latinos, we stepped out of line? Or we were keeping frame?
Oh,
and
with
we
the
were
whole
saying
black on black crime thing, I think that's something that only Black people could fix. That's something that within the Black community that needs to be a conversation between Black people, Latin people can't fix. I think we should focus on issues that we both face, that affects both of our communities. Like, because you can't fix, like Jose said, like Black people can't fix problems within the Latin community.
That's true.
It's got to be in-house, and then Latin people can't really fix problems within the Black community. It's like we have to take accountability for our own issues, and then we could try to unite based on things that affect us.
I never I don't believe in the black and black crime thing ever. I've never even I don't believe, because crime is crime. You know what I mean? What makes black and black crime any different from just regular crime? You know what I mean? Just I just don't I never really went to that whole extent.
I do think there's a problem. There's an issue there.
No, there is crime. There is crime in the Black community, also in the Latino community. There's crime. Yeah, of course. Like that's not something that's not happening. Of course, it's happening. But I don't like you said. We shouldn't be a part of that type of conversation, which you're 100% right about. But let me ask you before we go. What other type of conversations do you think we should be having amongst our people, amongst the mixed community, the biracial community, and stuff like that when it comes to Latinos?
When it comes to Latinos, see, you know what? I'm learning a lot about the Latino community that I did not know before.
I'm giving you a crash course, girl. I'm giving you a crash.
You know what? I'm learning from all sides, though. People who agree with you, who want unity. I'm learning from this side, and I'm learning. I talked to Kim and I talked to Maria about why they don't want unity, and they were saying how they don't want our problems. They're saying about that by the racial community and the Black community. They're saying, "Oh, y'all got different issues. We don't want to take on none of your problems." And I respect that. I'm like, I don't want nobody to solve my problems for me. That's not what unity is about. It's like, hey, you go solve all my problems. Like, no. That's not what it's about at the end of the day.
But talking to them felt like you were talking to a bunch of white supremacists, didn't it?
It felt like, I try to that's the thing about me. I try to understand where people
I know you're trying to be nice and soft, but be honest. Be honest.
But they had their issues and I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. Y'all, I respect boundaries, I'm like, hey, I respect cultural boundaries, I respect that, and I'm not gonna try. I think you should keep your culture. That's why I put that post about assimilation. It's like, you guys want to keep keep your culture. You want to gatekeep. I'm like, that's cool. That's fine. I think Black people, they gatekeep their culture and their community. That's cool. We got to protect our own, right? At the end of the day, and at the same time, when we do have we should unite on common values, on common goals. But like you said, if there's too many, what's the main priority here? What we got to find what's the top priority that we all need to unite on?
That's true.
I think that's the main conversation that needs to be had, because it's so up in the air. What can we what's focused on? What's the main top priority?
What's the meat of the whole situation? Exactly.
What's the meat of the whole situation that we could tangibly be like, hey, this is something that we need to start speaking on, spreading, because the Black community, they spread information very fast. If you have an issue, it's boom, it's all over the place. Black people are very socially influential, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that the Black community brings to the table, how socially influential they are. If you have an issue, boom, everybody it's on the news, it's everywhere, it's viral, right?
Yeah. So
I just think that's something that Black people definitely bring to the table. And that's something that's very powerful. There's social influence about things. So I think that's something.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you very much. If you want to stay backstage,
I will. I'll talk.
Having conversation. All right. Thank you very much. Magic Mulatto, definitely go subscribe to her channel. Now, with that being said, first of all, I want to just, dude, I've been talked about this again. I did talk about the bad things about the Latino community. Obviously, we have gangs and MS-13 and all these other people. You're not saying anything that I haven't already said. This is your first time on this channel. Go back to my archives. Anyway, so like I said, thank you very much for everybody that came in, that said their piece, that said what they got to say. It did get a little heated. Always is going to get a little heated, but it is what it is. This is what happens when we do get into conversations like this. I didn't want to derail it into some, xenophobic type of thing. That's the reason why I didn't want the group FBA to be here. For that same reason. But with that being said, thank you very much for everybody coming in, and I'm